Hello everybody, this is Ryan over at High Carb Regenerator. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, subscribe, like the video if it does you any good. I just wanted to talk about what I've been eating in a day. It's mostly been raw food still. I have been adding in a little bit of rice and potatoes. I don't actually have any video of the dinners I've been making. I keep forgetting to watch it. So anyway, here's the title. I will have to say this. I have lost a couple of pounds in the last couple of days. I noticed that it's finally starting to come down. I notice a little bit more with potatoes than I do with rice, but I don't know what the cause is. You know what? I did start adding in 30 minutes of rebounding again, Cellercising. That's why I made the video. I kind of go back and forth between the two. I find that my foot can't handle doing both in a day because it swells up. So I do one or the other. I've been taking a little bit of a break off the bike just because of certain situation that happened. And yeah, so it's been going pretty good. I'm pretty happy. I'm sure by the end of this month I'll be in the 250s. I'm around 262 right now. So hopefully I'll be down around 250 at the end of the month, somewhere around there. Maybe a little 252. I don't know. Whatever. We'll see it. You know, the more fruit I can find, the more I'm just going to go raw. If I can't find fruit, like I went to the Asian market today, they really didn't have anything I wanted to eat. They had cherimoyas, but they were like $9 to $10 a piece. And it's just not worth it for me, honestly. And it just drives you nuts because they're actually a really hard fruit when they're not ripe. So it shouldn't be that hard to ship these things, but what do I know? And I went there for mangoes, and they were completely out of mangoes, so that was a total failure. But that's the first time in, like, I think almost this entire year that they didn't have any mangoes. Like, you know, they were having the green, and then they had the yellow, and they didn't have anything today. So I didn't get anything. It's fine. Doesn't, you know, no big deal. But what have I been having? So I've been starting off the day with a watermelon, and I'll show you a little video while I'm talking here. I found some really good ones at Trader Joe's. I always look for the produce of USA or Florida or Georgia. Those are the best ones that I've found. When they come from Mexico, I've noticed they're not that great. I think it's just because of how much time it takes here to get here from Mexico. Now, if you're down in like the South, like even the Southwest, the Mexican watermelon might be really good, you know, because it's a lot closer. But by the time it gets here, I've never really had that great of one. But the ones from Florida are pretty good. But at the ones from Georgia, if you find a label that says from Georgia, almost like I'm going to give you like 93% of the time is going to be the best watermelon you've had that day. All right. It's just, they are so good. And then instead of throwing the whole watermelon out, I don't have a compost. We're not allowed to compost here, and it doesn't do me any good because I don't have a garden anymore. Instead of composting it, I just take the green off and then I juice it. You'll see the video of that here. And then I do that every morning. So that I do the watermelon and I do the watermelon juice. And then I just kind of do smoothies. Now, I actually am out of ripe bananas. Even with it getting warmer out, I'm still having ripening issues. And I normally have like 80 to 120 pounds of bananas ripening, but there was actually a shortage of bananas here, which is crazy. So I haven't been getting as many. They weren't letting me buy cases. So I've been having to buy them just a couple of bunches at a time. They weren't letting me buy any cases. I don't know what's causing that. But the last time I was at the store, they had some, but they were so green. Sometimes those don't ripen right. You know, like they ripen really good if they're around on an entire pallet of bananas. But if it's a case by itself, sometimes they don't ripen all that right. So I didn't get it. What else? And then at night, I've just been having something simple. I've been having rice and corn, or rice, corn, and beans, or try to keep it in a 3 to 5 ingredient list. Now, the only thing that throws that off is if you use a sauce, that's going to have obviously a lot of ingredients in it, depending on the sauce. Even some of my more simple sauces have like four or five ingredients in it. I mean, it's like ingredients that you can actually read, but you know, that's the one that'll throw it off. So if you notice certain sauces or certain whatever flavorings don't do well in your digestion, then just don't eat them. I think most people notice, like if you have chili, for example, and chili doesn't work with you, what is it in a chili that isn't working with you? Try to figure that out. Or maybe just that combination just isn't good for you. So food combining is actually very important. And raw fruit really should not be mixed. I know there's some people who don't agree with this, but in my mind, I don't think you should mix raw fruit with anything else. If you're going to have raw fruit, have it like a couple hours or at least an hour in between cooked and raw. That's just me. I don't digest it well if I don't do it that way. So I just keep it that way. What else have I been? I've been doing a lot of rebounding, like I said. I was doing bike riding. I just had an issue with the saddle, and it's not the saddle's fault. I put it up a little too high, I think. I'm going to have to move it down like a millimeter or two. Well, that was like a centimeter, but I'm going to have to move it down a millimeter or two and see how that works out. And that's about it, honestly. That's what I've been eating. Been starting off the day with a watermelon because they had them at a decent price at Trader Joe's. If you got a Trader Joe's near you, and that label, I showed that label. If that label's at Trader Joe's, that's a really good company. I found that they've been really good over the years. Past 5 or 6 years, I feel like that label's been pretty good. There's certain farms that just aren't good. So throughout the watermelon season, I'm going to show people the labels and stuff just to make sure that they actually get good watermelon. I've actually had people pay me to pick watermelon out for them. I mean, it wasn't a lot, but I was like, well, whatever. I mean, I can't turn that down. And then I've been going for a walk at night, provided it's not like downpouring. The last 4 nights, it's just total downpouring. I just don't feel like walking in that. Tonight, I don't think it's supposed to. Last night, it finally tailed off, so I actually did go for a walk, but it was so humid that my glasses were actually fogging up. It was kind of, it was entertaining if nothing else, but at least I got it done. I find that between the Cellerciser, which is right here, and walking, the digestion is just so much better. So much better. I don't notice a huge benefit to cycling and digestion. Actually, sometimes it seems like it makes it worse because sometimes it's very hard to stay hydrated on a bike, especially if you're out for a really long ride and you only got so many bottles, and then you keep riding and you're like, oh man, I didn't bring enough water. So sometimes that'll screw up your digestion, but it's still fun, right? And you usually can find, some of my rides have been out in the total middle of nowhere. I haven't seen anything but a farm for miles after miles. So sometimes it is a little hard to find water, but most of the time you can usually find water if you run out. And that's it. That's what I've been eating. The weight's coming off. The inflammation's coming off. My clothes are fitting looser. I actually, when I see myself in the camera here, I think my face is looking leaner. It's not as fast as it was in March, but I mean, I didn't expect it to be 30 pounds or whatever that ended up working out to, 25 pounds or whatever every month. I would like it to speed up a little bit. And, the more raw I do, the more it works out. And honestly, the calorie count is the exact same. So I guess the inflammation from cooked food, which I think Arnold Ehret used to talk about that. I don't know. I've never done anything with him. I know Arnold Kaufman, who is Arnold's Way, the guy that has helped me out. I know he referenced Arnold Ehret quite a bit. And I think he's actually the one that told me about if you eat cooked food, then you will have an inflammatory response. And I know Dan the Man mentions this too, because he says that if you have like a salad before you have cooked food, you don't have that same inflammatory response as if you just had the cooked food. Is it true or not? I really haven't had it tested, but I assume it could be true. And yeah, any comments, questions, leave them down below. I don't know, right now we're kind of like coming into a fruit season, like when everything's really going to become more and more plentiful. But in this in-between period, I think rice is going to be something that I use fairly often because like tomorrow, like I got 6 bananas right now that are ripe. That's it. And so I'm not going to just eat 6 bananas the entire day. I do have dates, but dates just don't fill me up at all. And I forgot to add that in the smoothie that I made, I added a head of romaine or romaine heart, or whatever you want to call it, just actually to add volume, because I knew I only had 6 or 7 bananas left for tomorrow. So I wanted to at least have some bananas. And hopefully these bananas that I have down here will ripen quickly. And I'm going to have to get the bananas at some point tomorrow, just to keep the stock going. And that's it. Like I said, any comments, questions, leave them down below. Give me a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time.